It's lovely to have Mark with us tonight, Mark Hill. Mark has been a friend of ours for about 5 months now, isn't it, Mark?
The day I came through here,
Yeah?
first day through into a church in 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
And you're a semi-retired businessman,
yes.
and in your mid-20s you had a crisis in your life and you left church and went into business. Tell us about it.
Sure. I gave my heart to the Lord when I was 15. And I was really involved with, Christian ministries. I ended up being a youth leader in a Pentecostal church in Christchurch. And then through a number of situations, I became very disillusioned with the church. It was the politics of the church. It was the support that I wasn't getting as a youth leader. And at the same time, I'd been married very young and my marriage started to fall apart. And through that, there was no support from any of my Christian friends. They all basically deserted me. I think it was a situation where it was new to them and they just didn't want to be around me. So I felt very lonely and I just walked away from the church. I don't think I ever walked away from God. He was always there. But the church itself and the people in the church, I had quite a chip on my shoulder over it. And so I walked away. And I suppose, like a lot of people did, I walked into the pub. I met some of my best friends there, and some of them, up until quite recently, which we'll come to. I've known them for 40 years. But I moved from New Zealand. I went to Australia and spent over 30 years in Australia, had a very successful business over there. 40 years you can do a lot of sin. You can do a lot of bad things in 40 years. And I did them. So, lots of things in my life that I'm not proud of. I had a very successful career in Australia. Came back to New Zealand 3 years ago, retired. I still have a business over there, but I do very little in that. But in my stupidity, I did a very bad thing back here, and I had an affair. And I had an affair with my wife's best friend, to make it even worse. I don't need to go into the reasons why and that sort of thing. I think that you slowly go downhill. I think you slowly get deceived. I think things slowly get worse and worse. And, for whatever reasons, it happened. And it totally destroyed my life. Totally, everything was up in the air. I lost all my friends. I got very few friends in New Zealand, Christchurch now. But then something miraculous happened. And the Lord came back. This is a weird thing. I've never been an emotional man. I worked in a clinical position and I worked around a lot of very broken people, and I could always put on a very clinical attitude and get through things. My wife used to say whenever she is sick, "Oh, you treat me like you would one of your patients." So a few weeks back I said to the Lord, "Look, I just feel I don't have enough emotion. I feel like I'm not giving, I don't feel things the way I think I should." I shouldn't have said it. I really shouldn't have said it, because I have so much emotion now and it just sort of bubbles up every now and again.
Yeah.
But what happened was, in my deepest need, he appeared. And I was the prodigal. I was in the pig pen. I was all covered in mud and everything. And he came and dragged me out. I almost could not come back. Hang on, I say this the wrong way around. His presence, his pull on me was so strong, I didn't have a choice. But the proviso was I had to give absolutely everything. There was no holding back. And David knows I came and saw him, as I say, the first time into a church in 40 years. I said, look, if it was all possible, if there was a piece of paper, if there was something how I could legally give it all to the Lord, I'm doing it right now. Because that's what he did for us. You know, that's what we're here for today.
Yes. Yeah.
It's all about the cross. He gave his everything for us at the cross, and it's the minimum that we can do that for him. And since then, he's healed me. I suffer from clinical depression, runs in the family, both sides, mum and dad. I have been medicated for, I don't know how many years, more years than I can remember. The week that I gave my life back to the Lord, I ran out of pills. I haven't had any since. I've had the clearest head. Yeah, all glory to him.
Yeah.
If you know what depression is, if you know what clinical depression is, and you know the darkness that you can have, and the feelings and the thoughts that go round in your head, and things that you just can't get rid of, but he comes in, he turns the light on, and it just goes, it disappears. I cannot remember having a clear head until he came in. So he's amazing. And the only thing I can say other than I just want to go on in him. You know, this is the start, it's a new start. And I am going to daily take up my cross and follow him.
Awesome. Thank you.